Now let me ask you a question. Would you wonder why a plant was wilting if it didn't have water or sunlight? Would you take your car to the mechanic before checking it had fuel in the tank and air in the tyres? Maybe these things you would consider as a basis for the functioning of your car. And yet when people become unhappy, we might forget to look at the basic requirements, the primal emotional needs of the person, the basic requirements this person has to be happy and stable. As well as the obvious basic needs for water, food and shelter, humans have a set of basic needs which are not so obvious, but just as essential to emotional well-being. That's why we at Uncommon Knowledge and Hypnosis Downloads talk a lot about the primal human needs. These fundamental needs, an understanding from human-given psychology, are, all too often, in modern Western culture, not treated with the attention they deserve. When someone becomes unhappy, for example, we may quickly assume that they need medical drug products, like assuming a wilted flower needs a chemical spray instead of, say, natural sunlight and water. The truth is, when our needs go unmet for too long, we suffer. And this suffering is really a signal, like thirst or hunger, that a need isn't being met. The feeling of loneliness is an emotional thirst or hunger, that we need human contact. So emotional suffering is a signal. That's the first thing I want you to consider. Once we understand that, we can track it back to what we need or what needs remain unmet for this person. We can see anxiety, depression, addiction, or some other emotional problem all as signals that, for whatever reason, emotional needs remain unfulfilled. But in turn, these emotional signals or symptoms can further block us from meeting our needs, so that it becomes a vicious circle. When our emotional needs remain unmet for too long, these signals of lack, as we might call them, boredom, unfulfillment, anxiety, loneliness, sense of meaninglessness, and so on, can be easily overlooked, leaving us confused as to why we've got this problem. Unmet emotional needs makes us vulnerable to manipulation by others. A cult or manipulator might come along and target a vulnerable person, someone who's starving for approval or attention or a sense of meaning. Anything or anyone who comes along and seems to promise these things may be enabled by the person who's been chronically deprived of the fulfillment of their basic emotional needs. Now, different people have differing requirements for each need. For example, a natural extrovert will feel the need for human company more than an introvert, but the need is still there in the introvert. So personality differences often come down to how strong the drive for a particular person is for a particular need. But these are needs that we all share. One problem is that many people aren't always aware that they have these needs, or how affected they are by these needs, and how linked they are to their well-being. So here's our troubleshooting checklist of the 9 primal human needs. Knowing them and ensuring you meet them healthily, at least most of the time, will transform your life and also help you understand human behavior in other people. So I'm going to list your basic emotional primal needs and briefly suggest ways you might meet those needs in healthy ways. These are in no particular order, and you'll notice that many of them overlap. In other words, what might fulfill one need in your life might also fulfill other needs. So number 1, we have the need for a sense of safety and security in life. To varying degrees, we all have some need to feel safe and secure. When our environment feels insecure or unpredictable or even dangerous, then, not surprisingly, our mental health can suffer. This need is affected by financial security, health, physical safety, of course, relationship security, and how well we're fulfilling our other basic human needs. As part of this need, we might include the need for privacy and time to reflect. The need for privacy is sometimes stated as its own special need, but I think it's connected to the need to feel calm and secure and safe. Ideas for how to meet this need include sitting down and thinking about where you lack a sense of security, where it's coming from. Is it your environment? Is it a particular person? Does it come from inside you even? Though on the outside things may be pretty safe and secure. That would mean it has to do with past emotional conditioning. Did it start after a traumatic event? If it's your environment, can you change where you live or work? If not, can you enhance your personal skills of strength and physical ability to make you feel safer? If it's a particular person causing you to feel insecure or even unsafe, decide whether it's worth feeling this way every day with them around, or whether you might be better off cutting ties. Learning to relax regularly and feel calm day to day for at least some of the time, regardless of what's going on in your life, is going to help you meet the need to feel generally more secure in your life. But if there are genuine threats to your safety, you need to address those or act in ways which enable other people to get involved to help you to address those real issues. If you've been traumatized, which is now causing you to be triggered even by non-threatening triggers that perhaps only faintly remind you of the original genuinely threatening experience, then I suggest you see a good practitioner trained in the rewind technique, which is a quick and comfortable way to de-traumatize your mind. Okay, so much of human behavior can be seen as the conscious or unconscious drive to feel safe and secure. So what other needs do we have? Number 2 is the need to give and receive attention. Too much isolation can drastically affect our mental condition, emotional state and behavior. We all need, to varying degrees, regular quality contact with other people. People who can extend their attention onto us in hopefully decent and positive ways, and to whom in turn we can give our attention. This is such a fundamental need, but often we forget to consider it. Someone who's attention starved might behave in all kinds of bizarre ways in order to try to stop themselves starving from lack of attention. But once they do get enough attention, often bizarre attention-seeking behavior, you'll notice, will calm right down because they've got what they needed, the nutrition of attention. So a few ideas of how to meet this need include, of course, a balanced social life, which is the best way to meet these needs. Make sure you meet up with a friend at least twice a week, someone who doesn't just have a button turned to transmit, but also can receive and listen to what you're saying. To be good at giving attention, you could, for a while, as an exercise, resolve to talk twice as much about the person that you're talking to compared to how much you talk about you. Remember, your social skills and interpersonal skills help others, but also help you, because the more relaxed, calm and skilled you are socially, the more others will be drawn to wanting to be around you. Next is another vital need which is essential for your and everyone's well-being. The needs of your body, the need to heed the mind-body connection. People increasingly treat themselves as machines. We work through lunch, sleep too little, eat junk on the run, skip the gym and prop up our flagging bodies with energy drinks. But neglecting proper nutrition, sleep, rest and exercise long term leads to psychological problems and stress-induced illnesses. I recall working with a guy who didn't know why he alternated between feeling anxious and agitated and completely flat and depressed. And I asked him about his life, and he was drinking energy drinks and coffee like you wouldn't believe, rarely if ever exercising, sleeping just a few hours at a time, and smoking like a factory chimney. All ways of living that we know detract from good mental as well as physical health. Now, it's no good getting all psychodynamic and complicated with someone when we try to help them unless we look at this important question of their mind-body system first, checking that there's fuel in the tank before taking your car to a mechanic. Ideas for how to meet this need include, for 1 week, get to bed early enough to enable 8 hours of sleep. Just try that and then see how you feel. Regularly walk more if you're lacking energy and vitality. for 1 month follow a lower carb style diet to see if you're one of the people for whom anti-nutrients in grains are a problem. You never know. Do some resistance training, which has been shown to improve sleep and blood sugar levels, and also engage in activities, if you can, which have you exercising as a byproduct of the activity. So, for example, when we're playing tennis, we're focused on the game and winning and getting points and so forth. But of course, the byproduct of that game is our body's getting what it needs in the form of exercise. Okay. But remember, all these needs are vital in balance. So next we have the need for purpose, goals, and meaning in your life. So a sense of meaning is a vital need. Humans have an innate ability to identify, analyze, and imaginatively solve problems. If a person is deprived of the satisfaction that comes from achieving goals or being connected to a strong sense of purpose, the imagination can start to create problems of its own. You might have seen someone who seemed to have it all in life and have achieved great success and have lots of money and so on, yet still they were alcoholic or drug addicted or deeply depressed. And perhaps that happens because the all-important sense of working towards meaningful goals was no longer a need being met for that person. Their life now felt kind of meaningless. We need to be working towards something, whether you're 9 or 90. This enables your imagination and expectation to adopt the attitude of hope rather than avoidance or fear. So ideas for how to meet this need include taking a step back to really think about your values and what you want to achieve in life, not just for you, but to make things better for other people as well. I created a hypnosis audio session download called Find Your Passion, which we created to help people find what it is they really want to be doing in life, to really focus on in life, and therefore gain meaning from it. Work from your values. First, come to know what you really stand for. When you find ways of fulfilling your purpose beyond yourself, then you help yourself too. Number 5 is your need for having a sense of community and making a contribution. This basic need gives us a reason for being over and above our own personal needs. This has been shown to benefit the immune system, mental health, and happiness. Anything that takes the focus off the self will achieve this, whether it's religion, clubs, charity, work, politics, or just a sense of being tightly embedded within your neighborhood and knowing everyone in your neighborhood and feeling valued by these people. We can see how the need to feel a sense of community can tie into the need for safety and security, attention, meaning and purpose, and probably other needs besides. So these needs aren't cut and dried or diced and sliced and really separate, they overlap. As with all the primal human needs, some people feel this need more or less than others. Some people have a stronger drive for a sense of meaning in their life than other people. As with all the primal human needs, some people feel the need for a sense of community more than others. Anyway, ideas for how to meet the need to have a sense of community in your life are: don't join a crazy cult that manipulates this need in you. Okay. It may seem to meet the need for a sense of community, but eventually that will be at the expense of all your other needs. But do go to your local volunteer centre, if you have one, and look at the things you can get involved in. Find something that you think is wrong in your local community, or even in the world, on a wider sense, and start talking to people about how you could fix it. Meet with like-minded people online and in real life. Get involved with other people who share your interests, which could be politics, sport, or anything. Number 6 is the need for challenge and creativity in life. So in order to be engaged in that way, we need to be stretched but not stressed, or what psychologists call eustress, the healthy form of stress. And we can get that from learning new and interesting things, overcoming challenges, whether it's whitewater rafting down the Colorado River, learning some new skill, or meeting new and interesting people. Boredom is a kind of negative stress caused by not being stretched in life enough. and a sense that we're stuck still and not developing. We need enough positive stress, or eustress, in other words, enough stress to keep things interesting and prevent feeling stale and bored. So try something new, explore, learn, improve an existing skill. Without a sense of progress and achievement, we can come to feel worthless, like there's no reason for our existence. Boredom can rear its ugly head and make life feel flat. We all need to be stretched. This ties into the need for a sense of status and self-esteem. Ideas to meet the need for challenge and creativity include, if it's not currently being met, taking a step back and thinking about the sort of things you used to enjoy before you got too busy to bother. Take a class in something you've never done before, try new things, aim to master something, start a new hobby or pick up an old one again. Successfully and powerfully overcoming challenges can make us feel alive. Next up, number 7, is a need for intimacy. Again, this need links to feeling safe and secure, and your attention needs, as well as adding a sense of meaning to life. So what do I mean by intimacy? Well, we all need at least one person with whom we can share our ideas, hopes and dreams with. Someone we can trust and whom we feel will accept us with all our faults and foibles. To feel really known by someone and feel you really know them in return. When we feel intimate with someone, we enjoy a special sense of mutual understanding and support, and feel we're together on the same side, and even that we, to a great extent, see life through the same eyes. We sometimes describe this as being really close. Now, the need for a sense of intimacy in life doesn't necessarily have to be met through physical intimacy, and of course it's possible to have sex without feeling emotionally intimate. So it's certainly not that single people can't meet the need for intimacy in their lives, because they can and often do. Laughing with other people seems to enhance a sense of intimacy, which is one reason why a good sense of humor in others can be so attractive. Some people meet the need for intimacy through a great friend, or a relative, or even a special pet. After all, we don't usually feel judged by our pets. Well, I do by my cats, but that's another story. Ideas for how to meet this need include making time with your significant other, if you have one, where conversation topics such as work, money, or the kids are off limits. Okay, so talking about other things. Discuss your hopes and dreams with each other. Prioritize times with a good friend or friends, people who you feel calm and relaxed and close to. Okay. Number 8 is the vitally important need for a sense of control in life. From survivors of torture to survivors of layoffs, those who are able to maintain a sense of control somewhere in their life fare the best. Learned helplessness, a feeling that whatever we do can't and won't make any difference, is so often a feature of depression. Losing a sense of control can feel devastating, and yet learning to relax with not having total control, but also realizing that in some ways we have more control than perhaps we realized, can be hugely powerful. The need to feel in control is a fundamental human need, but knowing the difference between what is in your control and what is not is vital for your sense of control. For example, some people feel they should have control over stuff that they really don't need to control, such as what other people say or think. Such people are sometimes called control freaks. Someone who goes around trying to control all kinds of things they really have no right controlling may do this as a way of gaining dominance over other people, or more often simply as a sloppy way of trying to lessen their own anxiety. If I can only be and make everything perfect, then I'll feel safe, that kind of thing. Other people misapprehend how much control they really do or could have over such aspects as their own emotional state or how they respond to misfortunes. There's always something you can do in any given situation, even if it's only deciding how you're going to respond to that situation. Ideas for how to meet this need include, if everyone around you is losing their heads and you are too, one way to get back control is to relax and get some perspective. Internal control can be just as, if not more, important than external control. If some things are out of your control and it's causing you stress, try focusing on what is within your control, such as your health and fitness. Finally, is a need for a sense of status. Now, it's important to feel important for healthy self-esteem in a balanced way, not in an entitled narcissistic way, which is, after all, just empty and vacuous. So we shouldn't be ashamed that we all need some sense of status, at least sometimes. Status means different things to different people, and it isn't just met through paid work or owning a flashy car. For some people, feeling recognized and appreciated for being a good grandmother or parent or son or daughter might be enough. That's a kind of status. Much disruptive problematic behavior may be a misapplied attempt to meet this need for recognition and status. The so-called problem child in a family may be meeting their need for attention or status through problematic behavior, just as some people may attempt to use an illness, real or imagined, as a way of gaining the status of special victim or invalid, as a way of influencing others. Being the funniest or bravest or rudest are often ways of gleaning a sense of status at school, but also, of course, that can carry over into adult life. Raising a sense of status is really a natural byproduct of working towards and achieving goals in learning and other life aspirations you have. So, as a recap, your primal human needs, which you share with the rest of humanity, include the need for a sense of safety and security, which I linked together with the need for privacy sometimes, the need to give and receive attention, the need to take heed of your physical needs, which directly affect your emotional well-being, the need for a sense of purpose and meaning in life met through having and pursuing goals, the need to feel connected to community, the need for challenge and to be stretched in life to avoid stagnation and enhance meaning, the need for intimacy, the need for a sense of control. Now, we can also add to that the need for a sense of status. None of these needs are mutually exclusive. When people become unhappy, we can look to see what's lacking in their life from this list. And in fact, so important are these needs that any feel-good movie, for example, will essentially be about someone not meeting one or more of their basic needs at the start of the movie and satisfying that need towards the end of the movie, so it has a happy ending. Okay, we have an instinctive awareness of these needs, but now you also have a conscious understanding of them. Any manipulation or bullying will entail someone attempting to block one or more of your basic emotional needs. So that always entails what bullying is. Once you know what you need, you can go about arranging your life so you meet more of these needs in a balanced and sustainable way. It's also important to not put yourself under pressure with this, because who on earth has time to meet all of these needs fully all of the time? Of course, none of us do. We just need to meet enough of them, enough of the time, to remain a stable human being. And fortunately, you can meet your primal human needs by introducing only a few basic changes in your life. That's because one activity can meet many, many needs. For example, charity work could fulfill at least 6 of those needs, while contributing to other needs as well. Walking with a friend might go towards need 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. It's also really important to make sure each need is met by more than one activity, though. Losing your job can be demoralizing, but if your need for status is met by your job and your volunteer work in the community, then if you do lose your job, you won't feel quite so devastated or crushed. You're still meeting some need for status, for example. Relationship breakups can be tough, but if your need for giving and receiving attention and emotional intimacy only comes from your romantic partner, then a breakup will leave you feeling much more devastated. So meet your needs in lots of different ways in life, and you'll be less dependent on just one part of your life. So I hope you found that interesting and useful. And if you want to assess your own need completion status, head over to the link below this video. I've also provided another link to my video on understanding what happens when the primal needs go wrong, the so-called dark side of the primal emotional needs. And please do subscribe, press like for the algorithm, and thanks for watching.